The man is unaware of the impending danger. He didn't even know that the child in his hands was Shin Tae-won's. He named him Dongwook. He told Dongchul to take good care of his brother. He also told him, in case, if one day dad is no longer alive, you have to take care of your brother just like your father. The son said yes. The two of them made a hook to signify the contract. Little did he know that later, Dongchul gave his all for his brother. The next day Dongchul was waiting for his father to leave work at the mine. At that time, Shin Tae-won came to the mine. He found out the date of the collective strike. He then planned to kill his father, but Dongchul, who was hiding, overheard him. He rushed to the mine to find his father. He shouted for his father. At that moment, Shin Tae-won's men received his order. An explosion was created. The flames went up instantly. Dongchul looked at the smoke in the distance. He knew that his father had been killed. When he saw his father being carried out, he was already not breathing. Mother couldn't believe what she saw, but his father's hand kept holding the birdcage. The doctor threw the cage away. Dongchul picked up the birdcage and held it in his arms, because this birdcage is the bond between him and his father. Looking at the birdcage made him feel like his father was with him, but Shin Tae-won was lying. He said it was just an accident. His mother didn't believe him. At his father's funeral, she told him to study hard, to become a prosecutor in the future, to bring justice to his father. Dongchul told his father not to worry. He would take good care of the family, take good care of his brother, and this 20-year-long road to revenge. And so begins the curtain. The boy witnessed this bad man plotting to kill his father. The young boy tried to save his father, but there was nothing he could do. He watched his father get killed. The mother didn't believe it was an accident. She knew that Shin Tae-won had a grudge against her husband, and Dongchul was faced with his father's murderer, but there was nothing he could do. He told his father in heaven that he would take care of the family. He would take care of his brother. When he grows up, he will avenge him. 10 years later, Dongchul grew up to be a big boy. Not only did he take care of all the responsibilities of the family, he is also known as the best student in the area. His younger brother Dongwook is also educated by him to be very sunny and cheerful, but his mother was ambushed by Shin Tae-won's men. She was warned to move with her children, otherwise they will attack her child. The mother had to hide her injuries, because the two brothers now were not capable of fighting against Shin Tae-won. But just as they were getting out of the car, Shin Tae-won found out that they were still there. He asked his men what was going on, and Dongchul looked at the man who killed his father in front of him. He clenched his fist hard, but he couldn't stand up to him now. When Dongchul and his brother were not at home, Shin Tae-won had his men come to trouble his mother again, and he took out all the letters of prosecution for all these years. He slammed them in her face. He said that it was all in vain, because all the letters would come to Shin Tae-won, and said that if she didn't move out next time, she would do something to her children. And when Dongchul and his brother came home, they found Shin Tae-won's car. Dongchul felt that something was wrong. The two brothers rushed home. They found their mother covered in bruises. Dongchul asked his mother if Shin Tae-won had done it, but his mother advised him not to say anything. He looked at the bird cage left by his father. He recalls his memories with his father. He hates himself for not being strong enough to protect his mother. His brother consoles him and tells him not to cry. He told his brother how his father died. He hated himself for not being able to save his father. Why he couldn't stop the bad guys. Told his brother that you are already 10 years old. That's why I'm telling you this. The brother knew how hard it was for him. Dongchul held his brother tightly in his arms. He wants to be like his own father. Teach his brother to be tolerant, to be a real man. He took his brother to the mountain peak he often visited with his father, to reassure his father he and his brother were doing well. He would avenge his death. But what his brother did next made his life completely changed. How bad can this man really be? Not only does he oppress the workers under him, he also gets rid of those who oppose him, and also disguised as an accident. But the wife of the deceased did not believe it was an accident at all, because his son witnessed the whole process. For 10 years, he kept sending letters, but the letters were all intercepted. He was beaten by his men. Even his two sons were mobbed by his men. The younger son was put in a bucket of dry water. The woman went to the door to ask for an explanation. She didn't expect that Shin Tae-won would try to settle the matter with money. He even used the opportunity to humiliate her. He dumped the money on the ground. He told her to take the money and leave immediately, but the woman grabbed the gasoline she brought with her and poured it directly on top. She grabbed a match from her pocket and set it on fire. Shin Tae-won was so scared that he ran away. When she came out, she said to her husband's former men, she did not compromise with Shin Tae-won. When the two children grow up, I will definitely help bring justice to everyone. The workers cheered. Shin Tae-won, who was on the other side, used his tactics again. That night, just after Dongchul and his brother returned, they heard from the neighbor's mother that there was a fire in their house. The two anxious brothers rushed home. They found that their mother had been rescued and was in good condition. Dongchul rushed into the fire in spite of his mother's hindrance. He came to the house to get this bird cage, came out and ignored the flames burning behind him, protected the bird cage in front of his chest, because this is the bond between him and his father. When the fire was over, the house was already in ruins. At that moment, Dongchul suddenly realized that his brother was missing. He felt that something was wrong. Little did he know that his brother was carrying gasoline in his young body. He ran in the direction of Shin Tae-won's house. He wanted to return the favor of his brother. He ran to the yard of Shin Tae-won's house. He poured the gasoline on it without hesitation. Then he lit a match. Dongchul rushed to the scene. He told his brother to stop quickly, but Dongwook didn't listen. He lit the fire. The fire soon burst into flames. Dongchul panicked. He tried to put out the fire, but to no avail. At that moment, Shin Tae-hwan inside the house found the fire. He hurriedly ran outside. Outside the door, Dongchul saw that the fire couldn't be put out. He told his brother Dongwook to run away. When Shin Tae-hwan came out, he only saw Dongchul's back, and Dongchul ran to the mountain with his brother. Looking at the burning fire, he knew that Shin Tae-hwan wouldn't let them go. Then he remembered what his father had said to him before he died. Our Dongchul, if one day dad is gone, you have to take care of your brother like your father did. Then he said to his brother, remember that your brother started the fire. He would leave to earn money to support the family, but he didn't want to be separated from his brother. Dongchul also told him to study hard. He told him to study hard and get into the prosecutor's office to help his father get justice. After that, Dongchul got on the last train. He left his hometown. The younger brother called out to his brother. He said, Dongwook, you'll have to take care of your mother from now on. You must study hard. The two of them did what they had agreed to do. At the age of 15, where will he go from here? But Shin Tae-hwan sent someone to stop the train at the next stop. Dongchul saw this. He jumped off the train, but Shin Tae-hwan's police caught him. His mother didn't believe that Dongchul would do such a thing because he knew his son's character. Then Dongchul was sent to a juvenile detention center, but Shin Tae-hwan didn't let him go. He used his connections to find the director. He was tortured in there. The boss inside was named Mark, and when they met, Dongchul changed completely. This boy took 50 pounds of gasoline, came to the enemy's house yard, and set it on fire. Seeing that things were getting out of hand, to protect his brother, Dongchul willingly took the blame and went to the juvenile detention center. He suffered a lot in there, but even so, he endured it. He wanted to behave well to get out sooner, because he still has his mother and brother to take care of. He didn't know that the guys who were always bullying him were planning to escape, but Dongchul happened to overhear him. Tom asked his brother to bring him here. He gave Dongchul two choices. One is to run away with them, or he could finish him off right now. There was no way Dongchul would agree to this, but just as Tom was about to do it, but then the correctional officer came in. That's how Dongchul was able to get out of the situation. His mother came to see him this day. Looking at Dongchul, who was crying, she said, why did he do that? She said that she wanted to break off the relationship between mother and son, but his mother was a sweetheart. Before she left, she even told him to leave, and his mother's illness was getting worse. She tried to keep Dongchul from finding out. She suddenly collapsed. Dongchul tried to check on her, but was stopped. He found out from his sister's mouth his mother's kidneys were deteriorating. She needs to go to a big hospital, but the family can't afford to pay for it. He also said that it was a secret that his mother wouldn't tell him. Dongchul blames himself very much because he is the backbone of the family. He couldn't just watch his mother fall ill. Then he found Tom. He said he wanted to work with him because he needed money. Tom told him doing what they do could cost him his life, but Dongchul couldn't care less. He would do anything to save his mother. That night they arrived at the plant site. Tom's little brother asked Dongchul to be the cannon fodder to cut the wire. Dongchul hesitated for a moment and then decided to cut all the wire. Several people escaped successfully. Then Tom took Dongchul to his big brother. He said he urgently needed his mother's hospital bill. He would do anything to save his mother, but the uncle didn't think much of him. After that he took them to the sea. He told them that there was something from the client down there. Who can go down and retrieve it? He also said that the water was cold and biting. There are also crocodiles inside. Those who went down a few days ago did not come up. Tom and his men were instantly scared. At this time the little brother again urged Dongchul to jump and said, you want to save your mother, right? And Dongchul remembered his mother who was still suffering from illness. Tell the uncle his home address. He also said that if he couldn't get up there, he asked him to save his mother, and then he jumped down. After Dongchul went into the water, Uncle is still taunting the Mark people cowardly. After a long time Dongchul came out of the water, successfully brought things up. He also got the approval of the uncle. They hurriedly pulled him into the boat. They found out that there was a valuable watch inside. They shouted happily, but Dongchul's road ahead is even more winding. Dongchul found his brother. His brother asked him how he got out. Dongchul didn't say anything. He handed him the money directly. He told him to send his mother to a big hospital. After that he left in a hurry. When he came back he found that Uncle had been stabbed, and that's when Mark found someone coming. Knowing that it was a trap, he pulls Dongchul and tries to escape, but Dongchul didn't want to die without saving him, so he escaped with him on his back after taking him to the hospital. But he asked him to do one thing, to find his friend Henry. It turns out that the one who betrayed the uncle is the same one who betrayed him before. He conspired with One Eye, wanted to take the uncle's property for himself, but then they were caught by Henry's men. They were all sent to the police station. But then Shin Tae-hwan found out that Dongchul had escaped, so he found his little brother. He told him to kill Dongchul, but Dongchul was with Mark all day. He had no way to do it, so he tried to get Dongwook. At night he brought Dongwook to threaten Dongchul because Dongchul loves his brother the most. He didn't want his brother to get hurt. He was forced to kneel down to the people, but at that moment Mark grabbed Shin Tae-hwan. The sudden reversal left several people instantly dumbfounded. They had no choice but to release Dongwook. Dongchul looked at the injury on his brother's face and blamed himself. He kept apologizing to his brother. After that he asked Mark to take his brother away first. He looked at the other side in anger. A fight was about to break out, but at that moment the police suddenly arrived. Dongchul was arrested again. Suddenly the door opened. He was taken on board blindfolded again. It turns out that the old man from before saved him. He wanted to take Dongchul to Macau, but Dongchul doesn't want to go abroad because he needs to take care of his mother and brother at home. The uncle said that this is his only way out, but Dongchul jumped off the boat despite the obstacles. Uncle saw this and jumped off too. After Dongchul was pulled on the boat, he begged and pleaded to go back, but the uncle said, "You go back. Your family will still be in danger. You have to become strong enough before you can come back to protect them." Dongchul looked in the direction of his hometown, calling out to his mother and brother, and he said sorry to his father in the sky. He did not keep the promise he made with his father. Soon he was taken to Macau by the uncle. At this time the uncle was going to meet someone. Dongchul waited by the side, but he was forced into the car by some people. Dongchul saw this and went after him, but with 2 legs he could not outrun a car with 4 wheels. In the end he was lost. He ran through the streets and alleys. He still couldn't find it. He was a bit overwhelmed. How would he survive in this strange city? 10 years had passed. Dongwook has grown up. Just after his college entrance exams he took on all the work of the family. But far away in Macau, at a pier, 2 people were performing for the workers, when a man took off his mask at the moment, but revealed a handsome face. He was none other than Lee Dongchul. Man to protect his family, leaving his hometown for 10 years, every day doing the most difficult and tiring work. Even so, he saved money, because he gave all his savings to his family. But not only did his mother not buy it, she was still angry with him for leaving without saying goodbye. But his mother didn't know that everything Dongchul did was to protect them, and she didn't know how hard it was for him to live in a foreign country. He worked hard every day. Not only did he have to work as a part-time worker at a scrapyard, he also had to deliver goods for others, and then he had to clean up the garbage on the boat. At night he has to work part-time, just to earn a small commission. But this day, while he was pushing garbage, 2 people were stirring together in front of him. The garbage truck was out of control. It fell down next to the woman. The woman said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Dongchul apologized quickly. "Take a rag to wipe her skirt." The woman was angry and said, "Do you know how expensive the dress is? What should I do?" After the woman left in anger, the man not only did not blame Dongchul, instead he was thanking him. Dongchul was a bit puzzled, so the woman had been pestering him. He thanked Dongchul for helping him to get rid of the woman. The man's name is Mike. He's the son of a big tycoon, and Dongchul, who was cleaning up the garbage, caught the attention of a woman upstairs.